everyone, this is Meri for the second podcast of amirisu. I've been meaning to do the second episode much earlier, but we had a magazine to make and then our sample were all in Tokyo for the trunk show, and then my son got sick and all that, so I couldn't do it earlier. And this morning I meant to come here earlier. It's almost noon now, so but I started watching a documentary about a polar bear baby grew up in a zoo. He was abandoned by his mother when he was born, and then the zoo assigned a guy to raise him. And just when I was about to leave home, he got really sick, and I just couldn't leave there. I just had to know if he was okay. And at the end of the show, I learned that he is now like 17 or 18, and he got recovered from the illness and he's doing well. So I was able to come to work. So anyway, I would like to introduce our latest issue. Last time I tried to do all the samples in one show, and that took like an hour, and that was really long. So this time I will just show you a couple of them and also talk about our retreat that's coming up next spring. So first of all, I'm wearing a pullover called Paletta, designed by Caitlin Hunter, Boyland Knitworks. It's one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites in this issue actually, but it's one of my favorites. And if you look at the Instagram, the owner of Farmer's Daughter Fibers, who made this yarn, she was wearing this in a different color. She self-test knit for us, and it was really nice. I like that, the color that she chose. So maybe in the future we'll have that color in the shop. So this is a sample color. It's like pink and red and all the good colors in one piece. It's very unique because it's striped, and this section is all in mohair, silk mohair yarn, and this part is color work, obviously. So very unique piece. Before jumping into introducing other pieces, I'll talk a little bit about this issue. The theme is set vintage. I wanted the pieces to have like a vintage flair, but also wanted something like the knitwear in this issue to be something that we can wear for years, like until it becomes vintage. That's what I talked about in the introduction page, that to tell you the truth, it's really hard for me to buy new clothes these days, although I do go shopping. It's like I look at the material, I touch the materials, and like often the case it's so low quality, although I like the design itself, and I can't help but think like, how many years can I wear this? And I can't obviously make all the clothes I wear. I may be able to, but I just don't have enough time. So I still buy clothes, but it's always a dilemma and like frustrating. So when we make something with our own hands, I want them to last longer and to be cherished longer, and possibly like hand down to your daughters or your granddaughters or grandson or your relatives. That's the concept of this issue. Also, we happen to have this pink wall at the photo shoot studio, so we took advantage of it, but it's really pink. So I decided to make the other pages less pink and like more like a holiday spirit. So there are a lot of pages in dark green in this issue. Yeah, and this time we found among our students in Tokiko's class, we found someone who went to an art school, and she's a really good illustrator. So we decided to commission her the artwork starting from this issue, maybe for a couple of issues, I don't know for how long. And also, some of you may be wondering what these pages are. She is one of the top models in Japan right now, and she's in like TV commercials and a lot of magazines and modeling for fashion brands and things like that. And our hair and makeup stylist, she happened to know her, and when the team that includes her were doing a photo shoot on the beach one day, they said like they don't have enough, like they only have like a couple of items to shoot, so they have time. So she asked us if we have anything that they can potentially use, and then will let us use the photos for the magazine. So these are the photos that came out of that. And we sent, and they specifically said like small items like cowls and shawls, so these are the things we sent. And obviously this is a cowl designed by Andrea, and then this is a cowl that I designed for our shop. It's knit in like super bulky yarn that we don't have anymore, so that's why we're not selling it anymore. Maybe in the future we may sell it again. And this is a shawl that I mostly like pretty much designed, but I gave the sketches and the swatches to one of our staffs, and she completed it. She wrote the pattern, she knit the sample, so more than half the effort is hers. But this is the Mayumi shawl that's knit in parade yarn in yellow and white, and I really like the results. I wanted something that has like circular, half circular shawl, and also like knit from bottom up, so that like we don't have to do all the crazy bang off at the end. Also, I don't like the, how do you say, the knit on edge, that if you knit this part at the end, it'll take forever, and I really didn't like that. So we started from this edge and knit towards the center. That's how it's designed, and the yarn is currently out of stock again, but we'll probably have it in less than a month for the holiday season, which starts very late in Japan. And what else? Oh, we have an interview with Aronia. She's been in a lot of media these days, and it's okay. And I wanted to focus our conversation on her, not particularly on punch needle that she became so huge, about how she spends her days and how she's raising her kids to be so creative. Like her daughter makes things with her all the time. And I wish my son will be like that in a couple of years. So that's the beginning, like the inspiration of this interview, and I hope you'll like it too. And other things that I like to mention. Oh, about this 2-page conversation, like interview about designers in residence in Germany that took place last summer. And they picked 2 Japanese designers who's been designing for Amirisu, and Ririko, who is handknitlife on Instagram. She's one of the first person who designed for amirisu, and like she's been supporting us from the beginning, and she's a very talented knitter. And Ayano is also our designer, and they together spent 3 weeks in Germany learning new techniques and spending time with other designers, and I thought it was really big, so I interviewed them for this, and hope you'll like it too. Okay, yeah. Oh, another thing that I would like to mention is this. Oh, I should have brought it from downstairs, but this bag is I made, and I spent like maybe 6 months trying to figure out how to attach the clasps neatly, because a lot of books, like you know, one of the embroidery artists from Japan, she's very huge in Japan as well, and she's got some of her books translated into English, and I think some of you may know of her and bought her book. And a lot of her work are made into like a clasp bag, but it looked so easy in the book, but I actually tried it and it was a mess. I couldn't attach it neatly, and I tried to figure out how to do it better. So I probably made like 5 or 6 samples and read several books to figure out how to do it better. So I hope you'll try. It will probably be very useful. Okay, and oh, and again, this issue is published in 2 different languages, one in English and one in Japan, so that we no longer get questions like, does your magazine contain English patterns, or is it written in Japanese? Because we kept saying like, yes, it's bilingual, but people kept asking me questions, so we decided to split it. So this is Balletto, and I have a couple of other pieces. And first is Lumi, designed by Fiona Alice. This is one of our most favorite pieces from this issue. It's very stylish, crop length, big sleeves, and knit in Woolfolk lift. So it's like super dreamy, super comfy and fluffy and really nice. And if you look at the stitch pattern, I'm surprised that Luft has such good stitch definition. It's very nice, elegant, and it looks pretty when you wear it. Okay, and this is socks called Thomasin, I don't know why Yuki picked that name, but Thomasin in Japan means like a relics of a building that used to be there. Something like strange and out of place that like left by what was there before. And that like definition was created by one of the, how do you say, artists in Japan who made like a lot of abstract pieces and performance art and things like that. And I used to love his books. So when I learned that the sock's name is Thomasin, I was so excited. This is, the green part is knit in the Ruma Super Merino socks. And this stripes, like white part, is actually gradient. It's spin cycle yarn dyed in a wool. And it's not color work. It's knit in stripes and it's using slip stitches. So it's actually quite easy, easier than you would think. And it's a great item for holiday gifts as well. So I highly recommend this. And this is the cowl that Andrea designed for us. And we kept saying to our customers that it actually looked cuter when you wear it, because the size is very generous and it's scrunchy, and you can like twist it around to create more structure, or you can just roughly like pull it on and you're ready to go. It's really nice. And this is knit in Labian Aimé Merino DK, and it's a very hard yarn to come by. We think that, you know, this base color and the stripes can be knit in like regular solid color yarn, but we recommend choosing this like bubbles, a yarn for bubbles, to be hand dyed. So each bubbles has slightly different colors, which is really cute. Okay, and the last piece I brought here actually is a cowl called Gaga, which means flower in Finnish. This pattern was inspired by a sweater that I bought in shop, like store-bought sweater, and it's not a colorwork sweater. It has like a pattern woven into it, and I created a chart roughly based on it long time ago. Well, the part that was roughly based on is this part, but the sweater is like machine knit, and it's probably the motif was sewed on, so it looks completely different. But it inspired me to create this motif, and then I created this one too and filled in the gaps. But I created these like a year ago. I kept thinking I can use it for something, and I finally decided, like, how about a chunky weight cowl that you can knit in a couple of days, then it's good for holiday gift. So this is, I initially used ram jam from the farmer's daughter of the shepherd ram jam, and I started swatching it with it, and I ended up asking one of our sample knitters to make that sample, and because I had to see like if it works in other yarn as well. And I think the other sample is still in Tokyo and we don't have it here, so I'm showing this to you. As you can see, if you wear it, you really can't see the pattern. So that's why I suggest like making maybe the ribbing a little bit shorter. But it's up to you. If it's longer, it's warmer and you can wear it like this. So I hope one day I'll get this sample back and I can wear it. I really love this color. If you haven't checked the new Corriedale yarn from Stone Wool, I love all the colors. It's really nice and it's Aran weight and it's just such a round yarn that gives great structure. And also like I'd love to see this in sweaters as well. I just love this yarn, so I wanted to use it as well. And oh, and one of the knitters just told me that there's an error in the pattern, which I have no idea how it was caused because the original pattern that I wrote didn't have the error. Okay, so ribbing section. It says with CC round 1 and with CCK1 attach MC and with MCP1, and there's a bracket that says with CCK1 with MCK1 to end. This MCK1 has to be MCP1, and they probably, or tech editors, rewrote the pattern and probably they made a mistake. And we will update or PDF on Ravelry. So if you have downloaded the PDF from Ravelry, you'll get notification maybe sometime this week. We are working on it right now. So now I would like to talk a little bit about a retreat. The first retreat we did was in 2014 in May. And ever since we've done 3 retreats so far. The first one with Olga, Brian Kafelian, and that was actually right after she left Japan, so she came back to Japan for the retreat. And then the second one, we invited Jared to teach photography. He wanted to teach something else, but I asked him to teach photography because I was starting to take his photography lesson, and I learned a lot. I don't know about other participants, but I was just so happy to be taking his photo lessons. And then the third one was with Christine Vigil from A Verb for Keeping Warm. And the third time, we didn't invite any other teachers, and it was just her, and everyone spent 2 days just dying, and it was such a blast. It was fun. So that was last year. It's really hard to do retreat every year, so recently we just started doing every other year. And then the venue, the part of the venue got bought out by like a huge hotel chain in Japan, which was so unfortunate. They had to go through so many lawsuits to try to get it back, but they couldn't. So we weren't sure when we were gonna do the next retreat, but the owner and we discussed like maybe May in 2019. So we've been preparing for that for more than a year actually, since right after the last retreat finished. And May in Nasu area, where we are having the retreat, is so beautiful. All the spring leaves are coming out and the weather is nicer, not too cold but not rainy yet. They have this crazy amount of rain from June to July, but May is still very nice. And yeah, it's only 1 hour from Tokyo by bullet train. And I would say like maybe half of the participants are from Tokyo area. So we always have the retreat there that's close to Tokyo. But last time, a person from Singapore, people came from like Singapore, from Iceland, and who else was there? I'm sorry if I have forgotten you. I remember everyone, I just couldn't remember on top of my head. And some customers came from like Kyushu, which is the westernmost island of Japan. So people come from all over the place. And this time, to this day, a couple of people are signed up from Europe and one from Australia so far. And several regulars already signed up, so we actually have like 5 spots left probably, and we haven't even started advertising for it. It's today and the Instagram live last weekend or the only advertisement that we've been doing so far. And this small article in the magazine, some people noticed it and the search for the retreat and signed up for it, which made me so surprised. It's a 3 nights, 4-day retreat, starting from Thursday night to Sunday morning. So some people come like taking just afternoon off and then come at like 3 o'clock train, and it starts from like maybe 5 p.m. and then we have dinner together, and then 2 days for the workshops. Each day you take different classes, and this time Aronia from Boku and Erika Tokai, she's knitting, how do you say, like she sells the stuffs that she knits, and she's also knitting book author and instructor, and she's very popular in Japan. She's teaching as well, so you take 1 class from each person. And Aronia is teaching punch needle on 1 day, and the other day, on the second day, she'll be teaching block printing class. Some of the participants who've signed up already, they've taken her punch needle class when she came over in spring. So I wanted to offer something that they haven't done yet. And then this time we'll probably have a little excursion to a nearby museum. It's paper cutting. It's a museum bought for or by a paper cutting artist in Japan, and I'm a big fan of his work. I love paper cutting as well. And Tokiko and I went there last summer. It was really nice. So we decided to bring everyone there and have like a little excursion time. And then we wrap up on Sunday morning after breakfast, doing like a mini farewell session, taking pictures with everyone. So you're good to go on before noon on Sunday, and it's only an hour from Tokyo. So if you plan to visit other parts of Japan after that, you can get there before dinner. So I think it's very convenient for travelers as well. So I would suggest, it's actually hidden in our website right now. If you're interested, I would suggest searching with the keyword retreat on our website, which is not an US website, but or Japanese website. Shop.amirisu.com, and make sure to switch the page into English. It seemed like some people have noticed that some pages are bilingual. Not all the pages, but retreat pages have English translation, so you can switch it to English. And if you think it's for you, then please sign up, because we only, like I said, we only have like 5 spots left. Okay, so hope I can do this again in a couple of weeks and show you other samples in person and maybe wear a couple of them. I hope you have a great week ahead and enjoy knitting.